Hello everyone, welcome back to podcast on personality development where we are about to enter in the phase 2 of India on the Moon series. Honestly, I believe Chandrayaan 2 was one of the biggest mission and it was rather a successful mission as this gave a huge boost in the reputation of ISRO as it was the only first attempt by India to reach the south pole of the moon, and many other countries had failed in multiple attempts, and still India reached super close to say it 100% successful mission. Now, why I use the word reputation? Because before the mission Mangal or Mangalyaan, there was a cartoon mimic published which pictured an Indian guy with a cow waiting outside the space community to get entry. The success of Mission Mangal was a tight slap on their faces, and now was the time for Chandrayaan 2 to do the same in the year 2019. Now the question pops up is that why did it took a decade for a Chandrayaan 2 mission? The real reason was the cryogenic engine. So let's get started on the epic journey of Chandrayaan 2 mission. Hold on to your seats as it's going to be a bumpy ride. It seemed that ISRO had a curse, the curse of cryogenic engine. ISRO was supposed to get the cryogenic engine from the Russians, but it seemed that the deal was always a problem for ISRO. In 1994, Russia was supposed to deliver 7 cryogenic engines to ISRO, but everything had collapsed in Russia at that time. According to R.V. Perumal, people were not getting food over there. The Russians were financially worse off than us, and the situation was even after 4 years till 1998, not a single cryogenic engine was delivered. And 1998 was the year of controversy for ISRO as well. This controversy was mainly due to Operation Shakti, which executed on May 11th, 1998, the second nuclear test conducted by India. Indians were elated, but on the other side of the earth, America was enraged. In the book, Engaging India, Diplomacy, Democracy and the Bomb, the author Strop Talbot described how America President Bill Clinton reacted to this. We are going to come down on those guys like a ton of bricks, he said. America was not the only one though. Even Japan and Canada were upset. America, without wasting a time, imposed a series of sections against India which impacted the Indian space program. And these sections were a real problem for ISRO and they kept their heads down to find solutions. However, in all of these drama and sections, the first cryogenic engine was delivered by USSR in September 1998. But there was a problem. The engine was heavier than promised, and Perumal and his entire team had to reconcile the entire project of GSLV. There was a continuous meddling of the contracts and the change of contractual clause, and due to which ISRO was always on their toes to find alternative solutions. After all these things, and even after the first aborted mission of GSLV, the second one took off successfully in April 2001. The first two stages were successful, that is, the solid and liquid stages built by India, and now was the time for cryogenic engine to ignite, which was built by the Russian, and it did ignite it, but it didn't function as efficiently as expected, due to which lots of fuel was wasted, which meant that the life of a satellite GSAT was reduced. A satellite which was supposed to communicate the details, its life was shortened by a year. ISRO decided to celebrate this mission after all the things that the organization went through. This was a success. ISRO managed to successfully launch its first geosynchronous launch vehicle. On 8th May 2003, as mentioned by Kasturi Rangan, the vehicle hit the bull's eye. After that, even the third launch was successful. Perumal and team became quite confident after two back-to-back successful launches. But then came 2006. On 10th July 2006, the vehicle took off successfully but was blown into pieces in midair, and the pieces were drowned into the Bay of Bengal. It was more tragic because the satellite INSAT 4C was made by India in this mission, and now that was drowned into the sea. The morale of the team was so low during this time. However, during this time around, India was also trying to build their own cryogenic engine. In fact, India was working on it from the year 1990. One of the good things which happened to India in collaboration with Russia is that they had learnt the foundation of cryogenic engine. The first cryogenic engine launched by ISRO on 15th April 2010 at 4:27 pm, it was blown on its way. The cryogenic engine did not ignite it and vehicle was sunk in the sea. The failure was embarrassing, and the curse of cryogenic engine was not getting over. But as I mentioned in the first episode, ISRO never gives in to failure. No matter how hard they were hit, no matter how hard their hopes were crushed, no matter how hard they fell on the ground, they get up with twice the power and efficiency to face their next challenge. This is truly a lesson for all of us. After struggling for cryogenic engine for over 2 decades, finally on January 5th, 2014, ISRO managed to fly its own indigenous cryogenic engine in GSLV D5. And then it was GSLV Mark III that took us to the moon for the second time. And it became the first complete Made in India Chandrayaan-2 mission. On July 22nd, 2019, Chandrayaan-2 was launched from Satish Dhawan Space Center, Sriharikota, taking off smoothly. It looked beautiful in the sky with blooming flames. On August 20, 2019, Chandrayaan-2 inserted into the lunar orbit. With each step forward, India was getting closer and closer to create the history. On September 2nd, 2019, Vikram lander, named after the person who started it all, Vikram Sarabhai, was separated while orbiting the moon in a 100 kilometers lunar polar orbit. However, communication from the lander was lost at an altitude of just 2.1 kilometers from the surface of the moon. Many people thought that the mission failed, but what I feel is that it was a highly successful mission. Firstly, this mission made India a self-reliant nation in space program, and also the orbiter's mission was successful. What do you feel? Let me know in the poll below the episode. So then, this is where the phase 2 ends. But hey, the story isn't over yet. Let us all dive into the success story of the Chandrayaan mission while we enter its last phase. While you were listening to this one, the next episode is already released. So make sure to binge it right away. This is Aditya Mehta signing off from this episode. Peace out.